Okay, so here we are at we're at the same reserve, but we're just at a different area. So what I'm standing in at the moment is a scalped area. For those of you who don't know, it's a sort of process that we use for direct seeding projects. With this area previously was just a really rundown sort of open area with pasture grasses and just full of weeds. So the decision was made to start a direct seeding project in here. So the way that they went about it, and this was done about 10 years ago, 10 or so more years ago, the way they went about it was they do a scalping, and what that is they remove the top 10 centimetres off from the soil, the soil layer. They remove that and take it off site. And what happens then is that sort of, theoretically, that gets rid of the majority of the weed seed in the soil, therefore creating sort of a relatively weed-free area. After that, the workers will come in and start doing spray runs and spray out all the weeds. Once the weeds are all sort of pretty much non-existent in this area, we'll come through and put down seed. In this case, the majority of the seed we'll put down is wallaby grass, rid of the sperma, which you can see here. It's pretty much covering this whole area. That's the prominent sort of grass we put down, but we also put down other seeds, and what happens is the other grass seeds like kangaroo grass or red leg grass tends to come up a few years on down the track. So in a few more years what we'll start seeing in areas like this is the the wallaby grass sort of opening up, creating more intertussock spacing, and once that intertussock spacing gets established, the ephemeral will start coming through. And then all the other different grasses and wildflowers and stuff that we've sown will start popping up. So that's the process of a direct seeding area, and that process takes can take up to 15 years, if not even more. One of the main issues that we have, especially at this site, is browsing pressure. So I just want to talk about the fencing that we have here. This fencing was established to stop any browsing from kangaroos or rabbits or anything like that. And you can see it's quite tall, probably about 5 something tall. And then you've got some skirting here to stop the rabbits coming in, and that goes all the way into the ground, so the rabbits can't dig out from underneath. And that's played a vital role in protecting a lot of our indigenous grasses and plants that we have in this area. So this plant we have here is Poa lab. It's pretty much the common native tussock grass. A good distinguishing factor is the seed heads. That's a spent seed head.
Oh, so that probably won't show.
Can you sort of see that?
Yeah, maybe.
That's the sort of spent seed head. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. These tend to come up in wetter areas. Usually what happens with the scalp, obviously when you're sort of cutting out that 10 centimetres of soil, you're creating a low point in the landscape, and that's when you get the water coming in, and you can see we're sort of standing in a really wet area. That's where these poas sort of thrive, and they were in the seed mix that was put down here. So that's the Poa lab, and then next to it you've got wallaby grass, rid of the sperma. That makes up a majority of the grasses through here. It's got a really the seed heads are all sort of spent now, and there's no real seeds that are up yet, so I can't really show you, but they're quite a sort of a...
I'll just get a shot of this. Okay.
Yeah, so this grass here is kangaroo grass. It's got a really prominent seed head. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but yeah, that's the kangaroo grass, Themata triandra. This grass is probably the most prominent grass in our in the basalt plains grasslands and open grassy woodlands in these areas. And this is the grass that we want to establish over this whole area. And as you can see, it's slowly coming through, but it does take some time, many years for it to come through, but it is starting. So hopefully we can get a lot more soon.